Hello, Train for Your Best members. Very fortunate today. I had a friend of mine fly in and a colleague of mine, and now I'm actually my brain and breathing coach, Colin Adams. Colin, thanks for coming today. Colin's a former athlete, college athlete, elite pitcher. I've worked with him before, and he's got me really involved in this brain training and breathing training, something that a lot of my athletes do with you.
Yep.
Some professional athletes. I know you work with a lot of athletes throughout the world. You work with normal people and different things. So if you don't mind, you've kind of convinced me how important breathing training is through a lot of different ways, and I've changed my perspective on it. So, can you talk to just the athletes real quick about what you feel like, why it's important for breathing training, or maybe just a little bit about your story, how it helped you too?
Absolutely. So a little bit about me, really quick. I, like Joe said, was a college athlete and struggled a lot with performance anxiety, whether that was big crowd, bright lights, or my coach yelling at me from the dugout. A lot of
Right.
different things produce a lot of anxieties in different people. And on the other side of the coin, as a student, I struggled with ADD a lot. So whether it was a focus issue, brain fog, inability to transition from one thing to the next, just a big struggle. So that's why when I got involved with this breathing therapy and also neurofeedback training, and I was able to see a huge difference. So kind of what we look for at Tiger Neuroscience and what we're working on with Joe is to assess and train the cardiac system and the respiratory system to start working together to produce coherence not only in the body but also cross coherence in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so how that works is through diaphragmic breathing. So most of our lives we're breathing through our chest, little short breaths, whether we're talking or going throughout our day. And what's happening is, as a result of that, our brain is not efficiently taking in oxygen. So we're electrical beings. We run on electricity, and we really need four things to produce that electricity in our body. The first is sleep. It's super important. The second is water. And then third is food. But the fourth and most important one is oxygen. And so out of those four things that I just listed, 90% of the energy produced in the body and brain comes from oxygen. Yeah. So if someone is inefficiently taking in oxygen, it can have ramifications throughout the whole body and brain. So part of the beginning of our training, we really work on diaphragmic breathing. That's breathing through your stomach, and to kind of show you guys how that works and to explain that, an exercise you can do at home is just simply put your hand on your stomach here, and as you breathe in, expand your stomach out. So it kind of looks like this. Notice how my chest and my shoulders are staying completely still, but my stomach is expanding, allowing my lungs to drop down further and take in more oxygen.
Yeah.
And then as you breathe out, your stomach expands back to your spine. So it's all about training efficient oxygen intake to get the most optimal result in both the physiology and neurology of what's going on.
That's fascinating. To me, I used to, when I think about breathing, I like to suck, like I'm sucking in, but then my stomach goes in. It's actually polar opposite, right? We want our stomach to expand. We want our diaphragm to expand so our lungs can fill with air and then get back out. I think it's really cool because I talk about movement and how getting in shape and all these things plays such a role in their performance level. And the elite of the elite, which I know sports teams, professional teams bring in people to actually do this exercises with, right? The brain training and the breathing. And what's cool about it is, again, it's just another piece of the puzzle, right? The elite of the elite athletes, the people that really make it, the guys and girls who make a lot of money, or the people that are on the podium, or the dance teams that win the championships, they try to find every little bit of advantage, right? And I think that breathing is such one that I know I've missed even in my tenure working with athletes that I haven't talked about enough, that we don't discuss enough, but it's another thing we can train, right?
Absolutely.
So then in the game, it just becomes the game, the competition, whatever it is, it just becomes second nature.
Right.
And we're able to perform at the highest level because we basically practiced everything from the breathing to everything else. So I can only imagine how great this would be for a gymnast before they vault, or a dance recital, and making sure they're playing focused and all that stuff, to have the oxygen in the muscles. Not only just we talk about the sleeping and the eating and all that stuff here, but the one thing that we've missed a little bit is the breathing. So I appreciate you coming in and involving in this project, and I look forward to myself working on it and then bringing it to you guys as athletes. So I thank Colin for coming in, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
bringing Tiger Neuroscience to us, and we'll
Thank
talk
you.
soon. Thanks, man.
Absolutely.